Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Die Trying. Today I'm going to be carving this bench out of a beam that a friend of mine gave me. Stick around and see how I did it. About 2 years ago, I was going through some Google images looking for inspiration when I came across this artist who had designed these beautiful benches. Her work inspired me to try something similar, and that's exactly what I'll be doing today. So far, I've just drawn my design on the side of the beam and removed any nails that I could find. I tried to get rid of them with a pry bar and a hammer, but had no luck. And since I'm going to be cutting away this part of the bench anyway, I decided to just get out the circular saw and an axe and chop them out. Now that I had a nail-free beam, it was time to break out the chainsaw. So the first step here is to make a series of parallel cuts down to the line I sketched on the side of the beam. Once I feel I've made enough of these cuts, I'll grab my hammer and start knocking out these pieces. Not sure what it was about this, but it was super satisfying. After a little bit of cleanup, I grabbed the chainsaw and started cutting as close to that line as I could. I'm going to be using a carving disc on my angle grinder to refine the shape of the bench, but I want to use the chainsaw to get rid of as much as I can. It'll just save a lot of time in the long run. I'm using the chainsaw here to try to round over the sides a little bit so that the bottom and the sides flow together a little better. The next morning I got up nice and early and headed out into the workshop to start carving out that final shape. I put a link in the description to some of the carving discs that I like to use. Definitely check them out, they're really fun to work with. After I got the majority of the wood removed, I switched over to a 60 grit flat disc on my angle grinder. These flat discs will also remove a ton of material quickly, so be careful you don't dig into your project. The plan here is the same as any other project. Step up in sanding grits until you reach the smooth surface that you desire. The only difference is this project involves a ton of sanding. But I just popped in some headphones and got to work. Fucking bow tie inlays. Am I allowed to say fuck on here? Huh. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Anyway, they're a pain in the fucking ass. A bow tie inlay is typically used to bridge the gap of a crack in your project. The idea is the crack won't be able to separate anymore in the future because the shape of the bow tie will hold it together. Do they actually work? I have no idea. But I do know they look really cool. So I cut some out on my bandsaw and sanded them flat on the sides. After that, it was just time to make some big scary holes in the side of my bench. When I'm cutting out the shape of the bow tie into my project, I use a really sharp pencil to trace the bow tie, and then I use a razor to score all the lines. Once you start routing away the material inside the scored lines, you'll notice the spots where you cut with the razor blade start to break off, and they leave you with a nice clean straight line. After you've routed out the majority of your material, grab a sharp chisel and get to work. Now, I know these bow ties aren't perfect, and I am not claiming that they are, but it did really help that I did them before I was done sanding the project, because by the time I was done, I had sanded so much away that they end up looking really nice. Take your time and enjoy this process, or you'll end up with a hole bigger than your bow tie, like I did right here. But the beauty of these is you can just cut a bigger bow tie and a bigger hole right over the one that you just messed up. And that's exactly what I ended up doing. After I installed all these bow ties, it was back to sanding. I have no idea how many hours I spent sanding this bench, but I definitely know it was longer than I wanted to. To seal this bench, I just used 3 coats of water-based polyurethane and sanded in between each one lightly. I am thrilled with the way this project came out. I feel like these carving discs for your angle grinder are a tool everyone should try. I haven't carved much, but every time I do I find it super satisfying and rewarding. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to like and subscribe or check out another video. Later.
Bye, see you again, and have a good